Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show. I'm Christian Karasevich, your CEO and founder of SocialChefs.com. We put on this weekly social media marketing talk show. I want to first off say, that I'm sorry for the time issue. Be Live apparently has a lot of scheduling issues. I went through the same thing last week. I've been through it as well the week before with their scheduler. Something's not right with it, but they refuse to actually help. So sorry about that, but I'm going to do the show solo this week. Jessica and Ann, they both reached out to me and they're like, hey, something's wrong with the time here. So let's get started with this week's social media news. We'll talk about it. We'll go through why it's important for you as a business, and we should get the scheduler fixed for next week, or maybe we'll move to another service. We'll see. Sorry about that, Be Live. So let's talk about what's new this week. We got a lot of really good topics to discuss with you. Some of those are going to be from Facebook. We've got some Snapchat updates. We also have an update from Twitter, and then we've got a couple of tools for you. So I'll wrap this up and hopefully a fairly quick show. So I apologize again for that. But let me go ahead and let's get everything. Let me get everything situated here, and we'll get going here. So, okay. What's new in social media this week? So I'm going to start from the bottom here. So I'm going to start off with an update from Twitter. And this is actually, it's not a huge update for a business, but there are good implications here, for how this could be applicable to a business down the road. So first off is going to be topic number one. Twitter snags live streaming for Major League Soccer. And this, in this case, basically the bottom line, according to TechCrunch, pretty simple. Facebook, they have Major League Baseball streaming. You've got some NFL games streaming with Amazon. You've got the Golden Globes, red carpet event. But now Twitter has actually won the Major League Soccer streaming deal. So doesn't seem like, hey, this is applicable for business, but where I see this being very useful is that this actually is good for Twitter. And this is good for Twitter because I think more people watch soccer as opposed to American football necessarily. So American football, it's pretty much on the decline, I think. But soccer's huge. Everybody watches soccer. Personally, when I go watch any sort of video highlights, I don't go. I used to go check ESPN, but ESPN got rid of highlights. They give you a lot of commentary. So what they've done is now I go to Twitter if I want to look up any sort of highlights. And I think this is a big deal for Twitter because it's going to help them, one, bring in some revenue, but two, I think it could help them bring their user base back. And the reason being is that Twitter now, is bringing in a sport that I think a lot more people watch. And a lot more people will be inclined to go to Twitter to necessarily watch sports, in this case, Major League Soccer, or hopefully talk about it. Now, one of the benefits to this is, that people, they're going to be able to go watch soccer, but also people will be able to see, so they'll get live matches. They're going to get, what else do we have here? Other soccer programming, as well as highlights and features, which I think is going to be really neat to move onto Twitter. Now, personally, I don't watch a lot of sports on Twitter, but I think that, as a business, this actually opens the door to, potentially having, kind of like what we have with YouTube or even with Facebook Watch, which is a show or the ability to tune into broadcasting on Twitter. So that's topic number one for the week. And by the way, I want to thank everyone who's joining. I see Ann is actually, she's actually reacting to the video. I was thinking she was watching, but thank you so much for taking the time to join. But yeah, topic number one, Twitter is winning a live streaming deal from Facebook. Big deal. Okay, so let's keep moving. Topic number two that we have for this week. And this is actually, let's move into some YouTube first. So next we have YouTube is adding something called information queues. This was actually at South by Southwest. And this one is, it's mainly there to protect YouTube. So basically, the bottom line is YouTube is going to be, and there's nothing really to pull up on this to show you because it was talked about at South by Southwest. There's nothing really new overall from, what's this going to look like? I mean, they tell you what it will look like, but they don't show you. Okay, so the bottom line here is that YouTube is going to be adding what they call informational cues. Now, informational cues are essentially going to be put in place according to this Susan Wojcicki. So basically, YouTube information, this was discussed on a panel at South by Southwest. So basically, she introduced these so-called, they call them informational cues. And the bottom line is that they're going to help to drive people to a Wikipedia article on a video that talks about, for instance, a conspiracy theorist video. So, people that have a controversial video that they're always, putting up on YouTube, trying to garner some views. YouTube wants to drive you to basically to other content. They still want to use the platform. So the bottom line here is, here's what would happen. So if somebody's watching a video, what will happen is they'll have a text box, information box that will pop up that will appear below the video, but it will have, it'll be above the title and description. So it'll be pretty much video, informational cue, and then the title and description. So what's going to happen is it'll pop up and give them basically a link to go show them examples of how this, to be able to go and check out this Wikipedia information. And the reason being is Wikipedia information is, it's public information. It's something that anyone, people, there's a whole community of this that joins and basically looks at what's on Wikipedia, that updates the information, that makes sure it's correct. So, it's essentially a living and breathing body of work. And so what will happen here is if somebody's watching a YouTube video, they will see a conspiracy theorist video. What will happen is it will pop up and people will be able to then get that additional information. So big news from YouTube in that sense. Now, as a business, I would say, if this is your business of publishing, these types of videos, you definitely need to pay attention to this. Again, social media is a medium with which you can grow different parts of your business. So, if you have a big prominent YouTube channel, using your social media channels, to drive people back to that channel is, basically, doesn't matter what industry you're in. You could be in retail, you could be in technology, you could be just doing conspiracy theorist videos if that's your thing. So that's going to be the update there from YouTube. In particular, they're doing this for a reason. They're doing this because they want to protect their community. They want to protect their community because, again, it's built around user-generated content, and they want people to publish. They want you as a business owner to publish, but they want you to publish right information. So, this is basically the business aspect of this is YouTube wants you to be able to still be, a content creator, but they want to also control certain aspects because, again, it prevents the spread of fake news. Pretty simple. Or prevents the spread of, misinformation. Okay. So that's the first update from YouTube. Now, the second update, though, this week is that they're working on something called search-based video ad targeting. So search-based video ad targeting, pretty simple. This is YouTube's push into, which I think is a really good move, by the way. So YouTube basically is going to be trying to beat televisions and providers to combine traditional and digital style advertising. So a lot of TV shows, they rely on advertising programming, but we all know, like, personally, I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, in the little I do, I try to skip the ads. Everything is moving online, as you can tell. We talked about Twitter, Major League Soccer earlier. People watching that on Twitter now. So as you can see, everything is moving from regular television to digital. Now, how do you capitalize on this? Well, as a business, YouTube wants to actually get ahead of this. So what they want to do is I'll give you an example here. And this is in the article, by the way, in this article from Digiday. So what would happen here is with this new targeting option, a brand buying Google's preferred lineup of music channels, for example, this is all quoted from Digiday, could reach people who are watching those channels and have also searched for consumer electronic products. So basically, if you're doing certain things on, in this case on TV, in this case, if you go then to, the web, it'll be able to follow you basically. And I think that that's actually going to be a really good thing here. As a business, if you are spending your money on TV and you're trying to like make that transition to the digital side, how do I connect these customers, or these potential customers? This is going to be a fantastic way to do it. YouTube, we already know have a fantastic, platform in, Google, we know, and YouTube have a fantastic platform for advertising. You've got, Google AdWords, you've got, being able to advertise through YouTube. So you've got lots of options there. And Google wants you, they know that people are watching more video. So the bottom line is, as a business, if you're spending a lot of money on, advertisements for television and you're looking for that next step, consider this one, which is, YouTube search-based video ad targeting. So that way you can target people based on what they're watching. Fantastic. And as we move to these set-top boxes, Apple TV 4K, the new Roku boxes and whatnot, you're going to want to be able to, capitalize on the fact that people are watching through a box digitally. They're not watching, live television. So this will be a way for you to do that. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving here, and I'm moving pretty quickly only because, I know your time is valuable. So next update for the week is an update for Facebook Messenger. So the update here, pretty simple. I have to get this pulled up because there's actually a lot to this article. So the bottom line is that Facebook is testing a feature, and it's testing quite a few features, actually. One of those is going to be a new design to Facebook Messenger. Let's see what topic we're on. I think we're on topic 3. Yeah. Topic 4. Let's see. Topic 4. So Facebook is obviously, they're looking to copy. Well, let's say they're looking to, but let's just say they borrow a lot of things from Snapchat, and it seems like everybody's borrowing a lot of things from Snapchat. But what they're doing here is they're testing a new redesign of Facebook Messenger, obviously to make that more streamlined. But what they're also doing here, there's a couple of updates here for businesses. One of those is they're testing a disappearing message feature. They're testing, being able to send a Facebook Messenger chat, but then having it where photos and videos can disappear. Now, I think this could be a very useful move if you are running your business, with this in mind. Let's talk about, so the update is Facebook Messenger, disappearing messages and photos. Yes, Snapchat already has this, but the business implication of this, I think, could be very, very, very huge. And the reason being is, one thing they're doing in addition to the disappearing messages, they're also adding the ability for you to make phone calls to pages within Messenger as well. So currently you can only do it from person to person, from peer to peer, and it works fantastic. I use it all the time. But what they're also doing here is they're adding the page aspect to it. So that means you would be able to launch Messenger and call a business as opposed to having to let me only call people through Messenger and let me use my regular phone for being able to call people, call a business, for instance. So basically they're bringing page integration. So you can already call from pages, or at least put your phone number on there. Now they're actually hooking it into Messenger to make it work. Okay, so that's the first part of the update. But the second part is the big part, I think, which is the disappearing photos and videos. Now, here's how I think this could be useful as a business. So instead of posting an update, having a chat with the customer and having everything just, out there for them to see, you could conceivably, if you want to keep your customers engaged, have, maybe a Facebook Messenger bot, or have a certain, photo or a certain video that you publish on Facebook Messenger for your customers. And this could be something that, for instance, has a, an expiration date on it, such as a coupon or a promotional code or a special offer. This is how I think this could be very, very useful for businesses. So what I like about this update, provided it comes to, fruition, is that Facebook, if I'm a business, instead of putting everything out there and running the same kinds of specials and deals, I could run Facebook Messenger. And if I'm a business, share certain information to keep my customers hooked. It could be, for instance, an actual limited time offer. For example, it could be for anybody who, maybe, let's just talk about this. If this is their first time, for instance, connecting with you through Messenger, maybe have it where they get a message and they get their welcome message, but maybe it's designed to, send them a special offer, a special code or something. And that code is only good for, say 24 hours. This way it encourages them to take action. Or we could flip it around and say, if I'm a business and I'm having a dialogue with the customer, and let's say the customer has a complaint or they have an issue, one, I address the issue, but two, maybe I want to give them a special offer and say, what, like, here's a special, extra 25% off or something that I have on hand that I maybe give out to my customers when I have certain issues that arise. Now that, instead of giving it to them and hoping that it expires or remembering to have to go in and expire something, it could just be, an image or a video or something you give them that will automatically remove itself. So that way, if the customer, if they have 24 hours to take advantage of it, or, however long you've set, you have it expire automatically. And as a business, this is the part where I think that this could be huge if you're tapping into this. Now, it comes down to having a solid strategy, but I think that the disappearing messages and videos feature could be useful. You could also get more creative with this. You could do a scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunts are pretty fantastic. Again, it's having fun with business. And what you could do with this is you could run a scavenger hunt where, maybe you publish a certain video, and in that video, there's certain information that they have to collect. And, at the end of, like say the week or whatever, people are, if they watch your videos, have all of those expire. So you don't have to deal with people message you saying, well, oh, I missed this or I missed that. They know to tune in, and you also have to then tell them it expires. But that's the update this week. Expiring Facebook Messenger photos and videos. I think it's going to be a really, it seems actually to me like a really useful feature when done right. Okay. Got two more updates for you and two tools. So next update, we have something called Snapchat Creator Boost. By the way, Eddie, thanks a lot for joining. We've got Eddie here. Ann, again, popped in for a few minutes there. I know we had a little time issue. Sorry about that part. There's a B Live scheduling issue, as I mentioned. So Snapchat Creator Boost. This is a weird, this is a bit of a weird title, but it makes sense when you look at it from the perspective of, what Snapchat Creator Boost is. So what's happening this week in Snapchat? Well, first off, Snapchat Creator Boost. The bottom line is Snapchat is going, they've shied away from this for so long, which has been really tapping into, the community on Snapchat. They really want everything to be, it was the whole hidden message thing, or the disappearing message. They've started to get out of that phase. And one of those updates this week that they're doing is the ability to have a community for AR lenses. Now, these are the lenses that when you open Snapchat, they'll be able to pop up and, interact with your physical world. And they're really, really cool. I mean, the great thing about these is you can create these using their free Snapchat Lens Studio application. Now, this is just, I love the whole AR aspect of all of this. So overall, what Snapchat's doing, they really want to now tap into their community. And there's a lot of people that have have done that over the years by creating things on Snapchat, but they haven't really gotten the attention they deserve. So what they're doing here is they're having a set of featured creators to be able to have their AR lenses, published in the Snapchat carousel. So for example, if somebody is on Snapchat and they're going to use one of your use a lens, your lens could then potentially be there for them to use if you're one of the creators to get selected. And again, I mean that because it's getting started and it's something that hopefully it will expand to others. By the way, I want to thank Tara. Tara, thanks a lot for joining as well. Again, Eddie, thanks a lot. So Snapchat creator lenses, creator boost basically is just a way for them to start to build a community to promote the AR lenses that are being created. Now let's talk about the business aspect of this. I mentioned it's free to create Snapchat lenses using Snapchat's Lens Studio, which you can get by going to, actually, let me see if I can get the link for everybody. By the way, it's a quick download. You download it and you can start using it. So it's lensstudio.snapchat.com. I'll drop that here in the chat for everyone. And if you go there, basically what's going to happen is you'll be able to download Snapchat Lens Studio. You can look at there's a lot of guides, a lot of templates, some API support, all that sort of stuff. So really, 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 really neat, application. But here's the business implication of Snapchat Lens Studio. So for starters, it's the whole, it's the concept of Snapchat is making the Lens Studio, or putting it into focus by having a community where they can promote, or in this case, probably boost the, certain people who are doing some amazing work. Now, as a business, how can I tap into this? Well, for starters, it's free to create your own lenses. So you can tap into that, but, you can't create branded ones at the moment. But, what you can do is you could get into, if you're a really good designer, you could get into making a business out of creating Snapchat lenses for people or for businesses or for, whatever, just to give away in the community to draw attention to your craft. So that's how I think the business implication could work for this. I personally, I mentioned earlier, I love the whole AR side of things. And I think that, this is an area that's ripe for anybody to really tap into and to start really using. I mean, it's amazing what you can create nowadays without having to have, really expensive software. In this case, it's free software. All you need is your imagination. So that's Snapchat Creator Boost. Bottom line, it's a community for Snapchat users to be able to, who are creating lenses, to be able to potentially get theirs promoted at the moment. Right now, it's only open to a limited number of people that Snapchat picks. But that's Snapchat Creator Lens. Okay, last update for the week, and then we got two tools. Snapchat at tagging. About time that Snapchat is finally adding this. Snapchat at tagging. This is, I think, topic 6 for the week. Yes, topic 6. So previously, Snapchat, they really didn't want people to be able to tag other people. And, this week they're, I want to say this week because it can't flip-flop. But basically, what's happening is some users on Snapchat are being able to tag people in stories. Now, you're probably familiar with tagging. Tagging is simple. Just type @ and then the person's username. If you're on, say, Twitter, you do @ the person's username. You're tagging that person. They get notified. If you're on, say, Facebook, you tag them, and it will actually make their name or their business a hyperlink. On Snapchat, now when you go and, if you happen to be fortunate to have this feature yet, we don't have it yet, you'll be able to tag somebody in a story by adding their user's handle when typing text over a photo or video. Now, what's really great about this is that when you do this, you will see a more option that will appear at the bottom of a snap. And then what will happen is you can swipe up. You can then see the person's handle. You can see their Bitmoji, so you can kind of get an idea of who they are. Maybe you've seen that Bitmoji around. And then you get an add button to follow the accounts. Pretty simple. That's all it is to it at the moment. This is being tested, as I mentioned, with a few accounts. But overall, this I think is a big move forward for Snapchat. Reason being is that it should help brands, it should help influencers, and people who are looking to boost their people who are looking to build their Snapchat audience. This should be a very useful feature for you to be able to tap into this. So, Snapchat at tagging, pretty simple. Now, the old way, I say the old way, it hasn't been very long, but the old way, is you tried to drive people to Snapchat. So I like the moves that Snapchat's making here. I like the moves because, they're starting to focus on the community aspect, and that's really what's important. It's important for you as a business to be building a community on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, whatever community it is where your customers are at, building a community there, and basically harnessing that, all the conversation and whatnot going there, to be able to, to get those customers excited. So that's what you have there. You have Snapchat at tagging. I think this is a good time for Snapchat to do this because if you combine it with other features, such as the ability, for instance, to embed snap maps, the ability to have, some public Snapchat stories, to be able to, in this case, use the AR lens feature, the creator boost feature, if you happen to get included in that, I think these are starting to contribute to a more community-driven Snapchat. Okay. So with that, I'm going to move into two quick tools, and then we'll wrap up the show. And then, I know next week, and I can tell you who got on next week as well, but let's talk about tools real quick. Tool number one is a tool called Pippa. And this is a tool that I actually learned about last week with my guest, with Phil Gerbershak. So Phil Gerbershak was on last week. Bottom line is Pippa is a podcasting, like all-in-one do-it-yourself platform. Now, if you're looking to get into podcasting, you can upload your podcast to, iTunes, for instance, but then how do you syndicate it to other channels? Because not everybody uses iTunes. Personally, I do, but, you've got Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube. How do you tap into all of those at once without going crazy? So what Pippa is, it does podcast hosting. It gives you analytics. They provide a marketplace. They also provide easy sharing to your social media channels with an embeddable player for your blog or your website. This way you don't have to rely on, having lots of different tools to accomplish all of these different things. So Pippa, it is, it's available. There's a 14-day trial. So you can, try out all of their features. But you also have with that a free plan. The free plan will let you upload 5 new episodes in total. You get full analytics, you get general support, you get their sniper tool, which actually is pretty neat. Their sniper tool automatically generates a transcript of your episode and creates a short video snippet to share on social media. So this way you don't have to actually have other tools to even do that part, which I think is really cool. So all of this is available for Pippa. Now, for example, here's some ways I could see you using this. If you already have a podcast and you're doing the whole manual, syndication of this, publish it to iTunes, get your link, then go over to Google Play, do all that sort of stuff. Stop doing that. It's wasting time. What you can do here is with Pippa, you can have all of that done through Pippa, let them handle your hosting, and then, you publish it once and it funnels out to all the different channels you want. Okay. So that is the first tool that I have for you this week. And if you're getting started, this is also very useful. It's a way for you, because they have a free starter plan. There's a way for you to tap into testing out the tool to see if audio is where your audience is at. So that's tool number one for the week, called Pippa. Second tool for the week is called Ask Lisa. Interesting name here. I wonder if it's playing off the whole, Lisa thing with Apple, because, Apple had a tool. They had a computer called the Lisa. I'm wondering if they're actually playing off of that. But the tool is called Ask Lisa. They had the Apple, they had the Apple Lisa. This was back in like the 80s. But Ask Lisa is pretty much, and this is really neat actually, it's an Instagram tool for using artificial intelligence. Yeah, and I love this sort of thing because there's a lot of practical applications and ways you can really use artificial intelligence and AR and all that sort of stuff. So this tool is an iOS app, it's a free app. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat for everybody. It's a free app to go download. It's called Ask Lisa. Pretty much what it is, if you struggle with, well, let's just say this. If your Instagram strategy is post and pray, which is, I post a photo or a video or an Instagram story, and I pray that people are going to go like it, that they're going to go engage with it. It's not going to work. That's not a good strategy at all. It may work sometimes. It may work. It may not work other times. It mostly will not work other times. So what is Ask Lisa? If you want to, if you've got, for instance, photos and you're wondering, well, hey, which one do I think will garner the most likes? You can ask your friends, and what is going to happen? Your friends are going to be very biased probably. And they're going to say, you know what? I like photo number 1. It looks the best. Or they're going to say, oh, they all look perfect. So you're going to get, that sort of response. So what Ask Lisa does is you upload your photos, and then they're going to use artificial intelligence to help you select the one that you should post on Instagram that they think will generate the most likes, the most engagement, using an algorithm, using artificial intelligence. So it's pretty neat. It'd be actually something fun to try, to test a couple different photos that you're using, because on Instagram, as we know, space is very limited. And, a lot of people, what they do is they take the time to create one, they don't create a lot of, let me just flood your news feed. They post one photo. And what typically will happen is people have 2 accounts. They'll publish something up on one, go look at it. And then, when they see how it looks and whatnot and get it right, they'll then go to the second account, publish. Well, this way you can put it into Ask Lisa. Ask Lisa will then tell you which one they think you should use. And then you can publish that on your Instagram channel. So that's pretty much the app, Ask Lisa. Free app, available to download from the iOS App Store. Also included a link to it there in the chat. But that's pretty much all of the social media news topics and the tools that we've covered for the week. A lot of really big ones. I think the main ones, Snapchat surprisingly has, 2 very, very, very good updates this week. I think if Facebook Messenger comes out with the disappearing photos and videos, I think that, that's something that you as a business should consider having in your promotional strategy, tapping into, how that can actually be very useful, to have disappearing, special offers and things like that to get your customers to take action now. So with that, my name is Christian Karasevich, CEO and founder of Social Chefs, and we will be back. We'll have a blog recap going up tomorrow, but we're also going to be back next week. We're going to have Phil Gerbershak on as co-host. We're going to also then have our guest is going to be Lisa Monk. You've probably seen her on the show before. She's from Chipmunk Media, but we'll have her on next week. And then we're going to work to bring Ann back. I'm not sure what happened with the scheduling, but I'm going to end the show right now. And I'm going to go have a chat with BeLive. So big thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thanks a lot. Kelly Kavanaugh, Sonia Figueroa, congrats, by the way, on your new book. Joey Vitale, thanks so much for joining. I hear you're doing some amazing things with your show as well, your new show with Mitch Jackson. Morris, thanks for tuning in as well. Tara, thank you. Thank you, Eddie Garrison, and the list goes on. But we will see you next week with another episode of Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show covering what's new in social media for the week. I'll see you all later. Have a good evening.